I had another talk with the German Chancellor, Herr Hitler. Here is the paper which bears his name upon it as well as mine. Some of you perhaps have already heard what it contains, but I would just like to read it to you. We, the German Führer and Chancellor, and the British Prime Minister have had a further meeting today and are agreed in recognizing that the question of Anglo-German relations is of the first importance for the two countries and for Europe. We regard the agreement signed last night and the Anglo-German naval agreement as symbolic of the desire of our two peoples never to go to war with one another again.
I am speaking to you from the Cabinet Room at 10 Downing Street. This morning, the British ambassador in Berlin handed the German government a final note, stating that unless we heard from them by 11 o'clock, that they were prepared at once to withdraw their troops from Poland, a state of war would exist between us. I have to tell you now that no such undertaking has been received, and that consequently this country is at war with Germany.
When Napoleon lay at Boulogne for a year with his flat-bottomed boats and his grand army, he was told by someone, there are bitter weeds in England. There are certainly a great many more of them since the British expeditionary force returned. Sir, I have myself full confidence that if all do their duty, if nothing is neglected, and if the best arrangements are made, as they are being made, we shall prove ourselves once more able to defend our island home, to ride out the storm of war, and to outlive the menace of tyranny, if necessary for years, if necessary alone. At any rate, that is what we are going to try to do. That is the resolve of His Majesty's government, every man of them. That is the will of Parliament and the nation. The British Empire and the French Republic, linked together in their cause and in their need, will defend to the death their native soil, aiding each other like good comrades to the utmost of their strength. We shall go on to the end. We shall fight in France. We shall fight on the seas and oceans. We shall fight with growing confidence and growing strength in the air. We shall defend our island, whatever the cost may be. We shall fight on the beaches. We shall fight on the landing grounds. We shall fight in the fields and in the streets. We shall fight in the hills. We shall never surrender. And if, which I do not for a moment believe, this island or a large part of it was subjugated and starving, then our empire beyond the seas, armed and guarded by the British fleet, carry on the struggle until in God's good time, the new world with all its power and might steps forth to the rescue and the liberation.
Über die Nordsee herüber. So kommen sie in der Nacht und werfen um die Gewissen wahllos und planlos auf zivile, bürgerliche Wohnviertel, Tomten auf Bauerngöste und Dörfer, wo sie sehen, im Licht erblicken, wird eine Bombe darauf geworfen. Ich habe 3 Monate lang das nicht beantworten lassen. In der Meinung, sie würden diesen Unfug einstellen. Herr Churchill sah darin ein Zeichen unserer Schwäche. Sie werden es verstehen, dass wir jetzt nun Nacht für Nacht und fast wird die Stunde kommen, dass einer von uns einbricht und das wird nicht das Gleiche.
ruler stood just as Napoleon had stood more than 100 years before, and looked across the English Channel to the one fighting obstacle that stood between him and world domination. A tiny island, Great Britain.
The French, like the British, did little in the West. There was the so-called Sark offensive, the only French offensive, in fact, of the war. A few French divisions advanced 5 miles, but they didn't even try to penetrate the Siegfried line, at that time still unfinished. And while Poland fought on, there were no German tanks at all on the Western Front. The newsreel commentators of the day, though, didn't doubt the French resolve.
We have read those communiques from the French High Command. This is the living story behind those brief, unvarnished reports. Our cameramen in the advanced lines on German territory watched the observation post at the bridge over the Rhine between Kiel and Strasbourg. This was a German railway station, now in the hands of French troops. From fortified outposts, the vigilant watches never relaxed. The Maginot Line, which was built as the first line of defense for France, has become the second line behind the attack. The gradual but steady advance of the French troops has brought their camouflaged artillery within range of the Siegfried outpost. There is no haste, only a grim, relentless pressure on the Nazi emplacement.
Paris didn't alter much for the coming of war, save in appearance. The most popular song that autumn of 1939 was Paris Will Always Be Paris.
Par précaution, on a beau mettre des croisillons à nos fenêtres, passer au bleu nos devantures et jusqu'aux pneus de nos voitures, désentoiler tous nos musées, chambouler les Champs-Élysées, emmailloter de terre battue toutes les beautés de nos statues, voiler le soir les réverbères, plonger dans le noir la ville lumière. Paris sera toujours Paris, la plus belle ville du monde, malgré l'obscurité profonde, son éclat ne peut être assombri. Paris sera toujours Paris, plus on réduit son éclairage, plus
There's
on
your
voit
train.
briller
Yes.
son courage,
You mustn't miss
sa
it.
bonne humeur et son
No.
esprit.
What's the matter?
Nothing at all, really.
La pendule fait tic-tac, tic-tic. Les oiseaux du lac pic-pac, pic-pic. Glou, glou, glou font tous les dindons. Et la jolie cloche ding-ding-dong. Mais boum, quand notre cœur fait boum, tout avec lui dit boum. Et c'est l'amour qui s'éveille. Boum, il chante Loving Bloom au rythme de ce boum qui redit boum à l'oreille. Tout a changé depuis hier et la rue a des yeux qui regardent aux fenêtres. Il y a du lilas et il y a des mains tendues sur la mer, le soleil va paraître. Boum, l'astre du jour fait boum, tout avec lui dit boum quand notre cœur fait boum boum. Le vent dans les bois fait ouh, la bicheuse à bois fait meh, la vaisselle cassée fait fric fric frac, et les pieds mouillés font flic flic flac. Mais boum, quand notre cœur fait boum, tout avec lui dit boum, l'oiseau dit boum, c'est l'orage. Brrr, boum, l'éclair qui lui fait boum, et le bon Dieu dit boum dans son fauteuil de nuage. Car mon amour est plus vif que l'éclair, plus léger qu'un oiseau, qu'une abeille. Et s'il fait boum, s'il se met en colère, il entraîne avec lui des merveilles. Boum, le monde entier fait boum, tout avec lui dit boum, quand notre cœur fait boum boum. standing here just on the steps of St. Martin's in the Fields. A searchlight
Now the
just
searchlights
burst into
are
action
poking long, white,
off in the
inquisitive
distance.
fingers
One
into the
single
blackness
beam
of the night.
sweeping the sky above me now. People are walking along quite quietly. We're just at the entrance of an air raid shelter here, and I must move this cable over just a bit so people can walk in. There's another searchlight just far behind Nelson's statue.
These are not Hollywood sound effects.
Here comes one of those big red buses.
This is the
around
music
the
they
corner.
play every night in
Double
London.
deckers they are.
The Symphony
just
of
a few
War.
lights on the top deck.
That was a bomb.
Austria has gone. Czechoslovakia has been absorbed. Poland has been obliterated. Denmark is invaded. Norway is overrun. Holland falls. Belgium falls. France is invaded. France falls.
The situation is grave beyond words. England's back is to the wall.
The Terror Army has struggled back from Dunkirk, but apart from its courage, it has nothing to fight with.
Britain today stands alone and isolated, encircled by a ruthless and powerful enemy. On this side of the Atlantic, we watch anxiously and sympathetically. Can Britain weather the storm of invasion?
In informed quarters here, there are many who doubt it, who believe that great empire may go down to defeat.
This will be a fateful summer for the world.
Germany calling, Germany calling, Germany calling. The Führer says, I shall wipe out their towns and cities. Britain is no longer an island. She shall be a camp for my soldiers.
What has
And I
happened
shall go
in
to
France
Paris at the head of
makes
my
no
army.
difference to British faith and purpose.
The hour is here. England
We have become the sole champions now in arms to defend the world cause. We shall do our best to be worthy of that high honor. We shall defend our island, and with the British Empire around us, we shall fight on, unconquerable, until the curse of Hitler is lifted from the brows of men.
Here's a typical scene at one of our fighter bases between battles.
Rate for 8,000 feet, 50 aircraft.
The Battle of Britain is about to begin.
Rate 5, 7,000 feet, 40 aircraft.
Upon this battle depends the survival of Christian civilization.
Rate 13, 20,000 feet, 12 aircraft.
Upon it depends our own British life
Rate 16, 10,000 feet, 50 aircraft.
and our empire.
Rate 48, 11,000 feet, 100,000.
Looks as if they're coming straight for us this time.
Attention please, attention please. Attack alarm, attack alarm. Enemy aircraft approaching us from the southeast. All personnel not servicing aircraft, take cover. I repeat, all personnel not servicing aircraft, take cover. Come on children, battle girders.
Look out calling, enemy planes overhead.
Charlie ho, red Texas. You take the rear starboard. Yellow, you take the port.
Yellow 1 will go. Tally ho, yellow.
And a lot of you. Keep your eyes open for the red score.
Rifle 111 bomber, one of the most common types in use for air raids, carries a crew of 5 and mounts 3 guns. One in the nose is used for attacking other planes. That in the rear is a weapon of defense against fighter planes. Among fighters, the fastest in the world today is probably the Spitfire. 8 machine guns are spaced along its wing. These are operated by a button under the pilot's finger. The German armor had to suffer a simultaneous stream of fire, which, focusing on a point 250 yards ahead at a rate of 9,600 bullets a minute, can soar through steel plates. Our Spitfire has a top speed of 387 miles an hour. It travels 100 yards in about half a second. This gives it an advantage of about 100 miles an hour over the bomber, which cruises at 220. The extra speed of the British plane enables it to climb 1/3 as fast again. Its superiority in actual
Right, here we go. 2, stick to me like glue. 0. Niemcy, na dole! Nie widzę ich! Nie! Na dole, na prawo! Stop that hurrying chatter. Red 3 behind here. 2, 3, 0. Repeat. I'll say again. 2, 3, 0. For crying out loud. 2, repeat, 3, 0. Now just stop up that one of you and follow me. I'll let you drive as well as you. Oh, Goldstream.
The gratitude of every home in our island, in our empire, and indeed throughout the world, except in the abodes of the guilty, goes out to the British airmen who, undaunted by odds, unwearied in their constant challenge and mortal danger, are turning the tide of the world war by their prowess and by their devotion. Never in the field of human conflict was so much owed by so many to so few.
Mr. Churchill says the results they have obtained give us just confidence in the approaching struggle. These are some of the pilots, Canadians, who are daily hurling Spitfire, Hurricane or Defiant into the masses of knots continue to be sent against us. Hitler hopes to gain the mastery of the air, but so long as the British Empire breeds men like these, it is Britain who will gain and hold the mastery. The fighter command has already performed wonders, and at every alarm it gains fresh glory. Germany's morning hate in this war takes the form of mass aerial attacks on the defences of London. So this is now a familiar sight and a familiar sound. At regular hours, the Nazi bombers come over, heavily protected by fighters. You can clearly see the Messerschmitts maneuvering around the bomber. But in spite of the number of Nazi planes, the whole nation has complete confidence in our own fighters, and with good reason. Our Hurricanes and Spitfires, day after day, are breaking up the Nazi formations and shooting down Nazi planes by the score.
You get one? All I got was a belly full of English Channel. When are you going to learn? I didn't know you were there.
Never fly straight and level for more than 30 seconds in the combat area. How many times have I told you? Come on, I'll give you a lift.
I'd rather walk, sir.
Cut out the sir.
Their plane gave me a fright. They've no right to fly so low, somebody ought to stop them.
But these unexploded bombs and ammunition, technically known as flying, they were made to kill and destroy. They can still do so. Some fail to explode on contact with the ground. They may not be duds. Some defect has delayed their action. Touch them at your peril.
Here you are, sir. Thank you.
Ridiculous. We go up 4 or 5 times a day, and every time we come down, more potholes. And there are more potholes until we can't bloody well get in at all. We'll get this place operational again. You won't. Not until someone decides to protect it while we're up. And what flaming genius thought of sending us to that dump of a flying club? Don't blame me. Direct orders from Group. Park himself. It's not a bad little field. I've seen it. Damp tent and a nasty little shack full of dead flies. Well, at least you won't have the Jerrys visiting you. I don't blame them.
Since the stop of the revealing story of the Yankee Day battle against the flying bomb having now been lifted, we can for the first time publish secret films photographs of the killing grounds in southern England. The guns, first line of coastal defense, open up on a victim.
I said, look out, that's a bomb you've got there. It's dangerous to play about with those things. Better put it down and inform the police. Not likely. I'm going to take it home as a souvenir. Must have been tatters and gone off a long time ago. Anyway, I can take things up and bring it home. So if you see any strange metal object lying about...
While the batteries put up their curtain of fire, armed forces are plotted, and scientific instruments which outthink the human brain make their calculations. The oscillograph helps in this almost supernatural battle between the weapons of science and their robot adversaries.
This is London Court. This is London Court. When you tune in London way, every evening, every day, you'll find some guy talking a wishful talk. Every little commentary with its little spot of glee. You'll hear them all talking a wishful talk. Everything's BBC. Hear what you're damn well pleasy. Hear how the speakers lie there, cry there, die there. When you tune in London way, every evening, every day, you'll find some guy talking a wishful talk.
Germany calling, Germany calling, Germany calling. Here are the Reichs under ambush, Station Bremen and Station DXB on the 31-meter band. You are about to hear our news in English.
An old English proverb is early to bed and early to rise makes a man healthy, wealthy, and wise. Now here's what the average Englishman thinks of the present system of getting healthy, wealthy, and wise. No more whiskey if you're blue. No more steaks and onions too. What's to do about it? Let's put out the lights and go to sleep. No more money in the banks. The Russians get our guns and tanks. What's to do about it? Let's put out the lights and go to sleep. The food gets dearer every day, and the shops are closing. Mr. Gloom is on his way, and the Russians losing. No more butter, eggs, and cheese. No more tea and coffee, please. What's to do about it? Let's put out the lights and go to sleep.
Most people have got their new ration books. Excuse me. I suppose and hope you've got yours. You have? Let's have a look at it.
Why are the ships always sinking and blinking at sea? What makes the British start thinking of their cup of tea? It's now the season, the reason, explain what it means. German submarines. What makes the sailors go crazy wherever they cruise? What makes the market go down? What frightens the Jews? What takes the kick out the chicken, the pork from the beans? German submarines. Listen, listen, can't you hear the sound they're never missing? Torpedoes, torpedoes, hitting at day and hitting at night. Who sinks the trawler, the tanker, the ship full of meat? Who sinks destroyers and cruisers, the pride of the fleet? It's now the season, the reason, explain what it means. German submarine. I'll dedicate this to England. Germany is beating you. You deny it, but it's true. You tell the world that you're all right, but the German blockade is holding you tight, and all your ships are sinking. You can't stop the Germans. You're in their hands. You'll have to listen to their commands. Keep on denying German victories, that's all right. The Germans get even with you and fight, they're wide awake, and they're not dreaming. Your idea, divine, to march to the Rhine, didn't come true. How you must be feeling blue. You can't stop Germany from beating you. Germany is the boss now, and you are through. You've double-crossed many countries, all right, but Europe gets even with you in fights. Mr. Churchill and your politicians are dreaming.
Important war-winning weapon yet devised by the United Nations. Its fame is already established from that first heroic daylight flight to Augsburg, through the 1,000 bomber raids on Cologne and Bremen to the present day. The Lancaster is a name that is writing war history.
Here is Churchill's latest appeal to Roosevelt. Frankie, Frankie, the Germans are driving me nuts. From Narvik down to Egypt, they took all my landing spots. They've done such a lot of bombing, the docks are completely done in. Now I'm afraid it will be too late. For heaven's sake, hurry up. Frankie, Frankie, give me your answer due. I'm half crazy, waiting for news from you. Britannia won't have a carriage for the Anglo-American marriage if you don't send on the lease and lend a shipload of dollars too.
The Battle of Britain is over. The Luftwaffe has been driven to exhaustion, and Hitler suffers his first major defeat. He dithers, considers various options, and finally turns his eyes toward Russia, the place he singled out in Mein Kampf for Lebensraum, Germany's living space. Hitler will break Germany's treaty with the Soviet Union and invade that vast country. The campaign is called Barbarossa.
This morning, Hitler attacked and invaded Russia. So now this bloodthirsty gutter snipe must launch his mechanized armies upon new fields of slaughter, pillage and devastation.
Hear its silvery call, carried by the night air, telling one and all. Now is the time to meet your pearl, to meet your girl, to meet yourself, as once I met Molly, my
6,000 guns
sweet
fired.
Lily.
The invasion of Russia has begun.
Along the road to the Soviet capital, hundreds of thousands of Red Army soldiers have perished, killed in action.
Underneath the lantern by the
More than 1 million are wounded.
There I met Marlene every night.
Whole armies have been taken prisoner by the Germans.
It was a time in early spring when
Stalin's
love
empire
was
is on its
king,
knees.
When love was king of my heart and Mali.
The nightmare began just 6 months earlier, on the morning of the 21st of June. For Soviet citizens, the dawn of just another day. Yet along a line stretching from the Baltic to the Black Sea, 3 million German soldiers are moving into position, awaiting the Führer's order to launch Operation Barbarossa. The most brutal conflict between two nations in recorded history is about to begin. And yet, the citizens of Moscow and Leningrad awake in blissful ignorance, unaware that today will be the last day of peace. Panzer units sweeping east are already deep inside Soviet territory. Chaos multiplies the catastrophe. Without orders from the Kremlin, Red Army field commanders lose control of their units. Dazed, cut off, surrounded, thousands of Soviet soldiers surrender.
This is London Court.
Interrupt this program to bring you a special news bulletin. The Japanese have attacked Pearl Harbor, Hawaii by air, President Roosevelt has just announced. The attack also was made on all naval and military activities on the principal island of Oahu. We take you now to Washington.
Let's go slumming Take me slumming. Let's go slumming on Park Avenue. Let us hide behind a pair of fancy glasses and make faces when a member of the classes passes. Let's go smelling where they're dwelling, sniffing everything the way they do. Let us go to it, let's do it, why can't we do it too? Let's go slamming, no spamming at Park Avenue. Here is the latest song of the British Airmen. Let's go bombing, oh, let's go bombing, just like good old British airmen do. Let us bomb the Frenchmen who were once our allies. England's fight for liberty, we make them realize. From the skies, let's go shelling where they're dwelling, shelling Nanette, Fifi, and Lulu. Let us go to it, let's do it, let's sink their food ships too. Let's go bombing, it's becoming quite the thing to do.
These, the first successful motion pictures ever taken during a night operation over Germany, were shot by the second pilot for Lancaster. Imagine him prepared at any moment to leave camera for controls as he shoots the spectacular scenes which follow. The first bombers have dropped their incendiaries and ringed the target. Our cameraman is with the second wave. Flying at a great height, he sees nothing but flame and fire, fire and flames. Each speck of light a blazing German building. Easy enough to realize the catastrophe, the concentrated chaos that is overwhelming the city below. Almost unbroken lines of fire extend a mile in length. Yet the raid is still young. At least 500 more bombers have yet to come. Incidentally, there's quite a lot of flak about it.
Hey! Stand by your trigger. Yes.
One moment.
Down in the Atlantic on a nasty afternoon, swam some Yankee shippers in a great big convoy too. Mr. Knox said swim, swim you're safe. So they swam and they swam, happy and brave. Boop boop did-em dot-em whoopee hooray. Boop boop did-em dot-em, we're on our way. Boop boop did-em dot-em with no delay. The Yankees are coming, hip hip hooray. Whee! Yell a little ship, we're soon in Africa. That's the place I always longed to go. Yes, said a second ship, it's a marvelous to me. Another tiny ship said, we rule the seven seas. Suddenly, my God, there was an awful blow. Everybody yelled, that must be U-boat blow. Crash, boom, it's a maze. What a jam, and they swam all over the place. All the little shippies had to go down. German sailors had a swinging day and really went to town. And the moral of this story, don't believe in Mr. Knox. Yankees, look out for more shocks. Boop, boop, did-em, dot-em, what-em, shoo. Boop, boop, did-em, dot-em, what-em, shoo. Boop, boop, did-em, dot-em, what-em, shoo. Stay at home, little shippies, and then you'll be safe.
Japanese attack upon Pearl Harbor naturally would mean war. Such an attack would naturally bring a counterattack. And hostilities of this kind would naturally mean that the President would ask Congress for a declaration of war. There is no doubt from the temper of Congress that such a declaration would be granted. This morning, Secretary Hull talked with the Secretaries of War and of the Navy. Now the two special Japanese envoys, Admiral Nomura and Special Envoy Caruso, are at the State Department, engaged in conference with Secretary of State Hull. Their appearance at the State Department on this Sunday afternoon emphasizes the gravity of the Far Eastern situation, where hostilities now seem to be actually opening over the whole south of the state.
asked Eddie Cantor to write a new version of his famous old-timer Makin' Whoopee. In one of his latest programs on the air, he sang the following song. Another war, another prophet, another Jewish business trick, another season, another reason for making whoopee. A lot of dough, a lot of gold, the British Empire's being sold. We're in the money, thanks to Frankie, we're making whoopee. Washington is our ghetto, Roosevelt our king. Democracy is our motto, think what a war can bring. We throw our German names away, we are the kikes of USA. You are the boys, folks, we are the boys, folks, we're making whoopee.
Overwhelming odds, Lieutenants Harry Brown, Robert Rogers, Kenneth Taylor, John Webster, and George Welch, among many others, fought back as best they could. At the end of the single air attack, the United States had suffered a crushing blow. The nation was at war.
24 hours after the date that will live in infamy, the nation assembled to hear their commander-in-chief.
Yesterday, December 7, 1941, a date which will live in infamy. United States of America suddenly and deliberately attacked by naval and air forces the empire of Japan. I ask Congress to declare that since the unprovoked and dastardly attack by Japan on Sunday, December 7, 1941, a state of war has existed between the United States and the Japanese Empire.
When it comes to clothes, make-do and men needn't be at all unfashionable. Listen to what you can do. The Board of Trade has arranged with Harrods an exhibition showing the housewife how to turn old things into something quite different and good as new.
Not perhaps the frilly vision you had in your mind's eye, but it doesn't cost any coupons. There's a little gadget that enables sewing machines to darn huge holes in a few minutes.
The long pockets were the chief difficulty. These show the case by inserting a narrow belt. I would like to end with a reassurance to women and a warning to men.
If you had prepared 20 years ago, you wouldn't be a wonder now from door to door. Why don't you do right like some other men do? Get out of here and get me some money too.
Have you heard that Minnie's in the money? Take my word that Minnie's in the money. She hasn't got a guy who's got a diamond mine, but she's a welder on the old assembly line. So bless her, yes sir, Minnie's in the money. Minnie's in the money, that's fine. She's helping Uncle Sam to keep his people free. She's okay, hooray, Minnie's in the do-re-mi.
If you ever go down Trinidad, they make you feel so very glad. Calypso sing and make up rhyme, guarantee you one real good fine time. Drinking rum and Coca-Cola, go down Point Cumana. Both mother and daughter are working for the Yankee dollar. It's a fact, Mom, it's a fact. Chick carried to Mona's Isle. Native girls all dance and smile. Help soldier celebrate his leave. Make every day like New Year's Eve. Drinking rum and Coca-Cola. Go down Point Cumana. Both mother and daughter working for the Yankee dollar. You vex me. In old Trinidad I also fear the situation is mighty queer. Like the Yankee girl go croon, drinking rum and Coca-Cola. Go down Point Coolana, both mother and daughter, working for the Yankee dollar. Oh, it's a fact, Mom, it's a fact. Out on Manzanella Beach, GI romance with native peach. All night long make tropic love. The next day sit in hot sun and cool off, drinking rum and Coca-Cola. Go down Point Coolana, both mother and daughter, working for the Yankee dollar. Drinking rum and Coca-Cola. Rum and Coca-Cola. Working for the Yankee dollar.
Made in conjunction with our great Russian allies.
Do you like standing in a queue for your vegetables, or do you think it's tiring and a waste of valuable time? Do you ever find your long wait has been useless, that supplies of what you want have run out before your turn comes? It's not the greengrocer's fault, it's up to you. Dig for victory.
Plan your victory garden now. Get your garden plot lined up. Get the advice of a garden expert if you need it, and be prepared to grow your own for victory. Join a garden club or community garden movement, or share a garden with your neighbor. You can help win the battle of food production. You can help our fighting men get the food they need. You can help save the vital metals used in commercial canning if you grow your own victory garden in 1943. For further information, write to Victory Gardens, Washington, D.C. Victory Gardens, Washington, D.C.
I'm putting all my eggs in one basket. I'm betting everything I've got on you. I'm giving all my love to one baby. Lord help me if my baby don't come through. I've got a great big amount saved up in my love account, honey, and I've decided love divided in two won't do. So I'm putting all my eggs in one basket. I'm betting everything I've got on you. Here is Mr. Churchill's latest song to the Americans. I'm putting all my eggs in one basket. I'm betting everything I've got on you. I'm giving my British Empire to you, Yankee. Lord help me if my victory won't come through. I've spent a great big amount. Gone is my lovely bank account. Yankee, I've decided your dollars must be divided in two, or I'm through. So I'm putting all my eggs in one basket. I'm betting everything I've got on you.
Now, wait a minute. Stop that. Thank you. Now, wait a minute. Stop that. Thank you. And you too, stop that. Don't start cutting bread while there's potatoes on the table. That's it, my boy. Help yourself. And you're helping to save ships too. There's lots of potatoes about now, and pre-war prices too. That's the boy. Have a second helping. Good health to you. Here's Spud in your eye.
Colonel Montmorency, who was in Calcutta in '92, emerged from his retirement for the war. He wasn't very pleased with all he heard and all he saw, but whatever he felt, he tightened his belt and organized a corps. Poor Colonel Montmorency thought, considering all the wars he'd fought, the Home Guard was his job to do or die. But after days and weeks and years, bravely drying his manly tears, he wrote the following letter to the Minister of Supply. Could you please oblige us with the Bren gun, or failing that, a hand grenade will do? We've got some ammunition in a rather damp condition, and Major Huss has an arquebus that was used at Waterloo. With the vicar's stirrup pump, a pitchfork and a spade, it's rather hard to guard an aerodrome. So if you can't oblige us with the Bren gun, the Home Guard might as well go home. Could you please oblige us with the Bren gun? We're getting awfully tired of drawing lots. Today we had a shipment of some curious equipment, and just for a prank they sent us a tank that ties itself in knots. On Sunday's mock invasion, Captain Clark was heard to say he hadn't even got a brush and comb. So if you can't oblige us with the Bren gun, the Home Guard might as well go home. Colonel Montmorency planned, in case the enemy tried to land, to drive them back with skill and armored force. He realized his army should be mechanized, of course, but somewhere inside, experience cried, my kingdom for a horse. Poor Colonel Montmorency tried, at infinite cost of time and pride, to tackle his superiors again. Having just one motorbike, 14 swords and a marlinspike, he wrote the following letter in the following urgent strain. Could you please oblige us with the Bren gun? We need it very badly, I'm afraid. Our local crossword solver has an excellent revolver, but during a short attack on a fort, the trigger got mislaid. In course of operations planned for Friday afternoon, our orders are to storm the Hippodrome. So if you can't oblige us with the Bren gun, the Home Guard might as well go home. Could you please oblige us with the Bren gun? The lack of one is wounding to our pride. Last night we found the cutest little German parachutist. He looked at our kit and giggled a bit and laughed until he cried. We'll have to hide that armored car when marching to Berlin. We'd almost be ashamed of it in Rome. So if you can't oblige us with the Bren gun, the Home Guard might...
Rommel's army has been defeated. It has been routed. It has been very largely destroyed as a fighting force. This is not the end. It is not even the beginning of the end. But it is perhaps the end of the beginning. Henceforward, Hitler's Nazis will be equally well armed, and perhaps even better armed.
My sister, Margaret Rose, and I feel so much for you, as we know from experience what it means to be away from those we love most of all. We know, every one of us, that in the end all will be well. For God will care for us and give us victory and peace. And when peace comes, remember, it will be for us, the children of today, to make the world of tomorrow a better and happier place. My sister is by my side, and we are both going to say good night to her. Come on, Margaret. Good night, children. Good night, and good luck to you all.
Ici, donc, les Français parlent aux Français.
People of Western Europe. A landing was made this morning on the coast of France by troops of the Allied Expeditionary Force. This landing is part of the concerted United Nations plan for the liberation of Europe. made in conjunction with our great Russian allies. I have this message for all of you. Although the initial assault may not have been made in your own country, the hour of your liberation is approaching. All patriots, men and women, young and old, have a part to play in achieving.
This is London.
What's that?
Late on the afternoon of D-Day.
Oh, that's a V for victory sign. 3 dots and a dash. Dot, 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 dot. Hey, did you know that windows missing?
Here is part of the recording. This is Charles Collingwood.
We'll see you on the beach.
Caught a ride in
While we have just seen one of the strangest and most remarkable sights of this invasion so far. Two great fleets of over 100 gliders have gone overhead, towed by C-47 transports who are certainly proving the workhorses of this invasion. Called and went over the German gunners and incredible
Major Halleck, I cannot overestimate the importance of your task. The Orne River Bridge must be captured before the enemy can destroy it. This bridge is a vital military artery, and the enemy has prepared it for demolition. It must be taken by surprise and captured intact. Your gliders will land at night without the benefit of ground support. You will assault the garrison, overwhelm it, and hold until relieved. Hold until relieved. Hold until relieved. Hold until relieved. Hold until relieved.
Since that time, we have been able to bring in quite a bit of equipment. There are various trucks and jeeps and motor vehicles of all kinds here. There are also anti-aircraft guns. We've reached the seawall in various places and have set up guns there to defend against any possible counterattack on the beaches, which has not occurred. A naval party has just come in from the shore and begun to unload our TNT, taking a load off my line as well as a load off this vessel. And I asked him how things were going. It was pretty rough still. I asked him how far the troops had gone on inshore, and he said that they've got 5 or 6 miles inshore, which sounds as though they're making good progress. He said that the beach was still under considerable gunfire. The Germans had some 88 that we hadn't been able to fire.
The Canal Canal Bridge, later to be renamed Pegasus, was captured by D Company of the 2nd Battalion Oxford and Buckingham Light Infantry. The success from Major John Howard and his men capturing the bridges in the first half hour of D-Day prevented German armoured divisions moving in from the east and attacking the invasion reaches. It was vital to capture the bridge intact in order to prevent German reinforcements reaching the invasion beaches. Such was the speed of the attack that the bridge was captured within 15 minutes. As platoon leader, Lieutenant Den Brotheridge led the first assault across the bridge, he was fatally wounded and became the first Allied soldier to die on D-Day.
What passing bells for these who die as cattle? Only the monstrous anger of the guns. Only the stuttering rifles' rapid rattle can patter out their hasty orisons. No mockeries now for them. No prayers or bells, nor any voice of mourning save the choirs, the shrill, demented choirs of wailing shells and bugles. What candles may be held to feed them all. Not in the hands of boys, but in their eyes shall shine the holy pallor of girls' brows should be their fall. Their flowers the temples of patient minds, and each slow dusk a drawing down of blinds.
3 weeks gone, and the combatants gone. Returning over the nightmare ground, we found the place again, and found the soldier sprawling in the sun, the frowning barrel of his gun overshadowing. As we came on that day, he hit my tempered one, like the entry of a demon. Look, here, on the gun pit spoiled, the dishonored picture of the children, the hospital, the dismay, and copybook of rubbish street. We see him almost with contempt, abased and seeming to have failed, and mocked at by his own equipment, whose hard and brutal knees decayed. The shivered weak, the sleepy days, the one whose skin the sword flies new, the dust upon his paper eye, and the burst his stomach like a cave.
I am the man who looked for
To hear
peace
the
and
lover
found
and
my
killer
own
and
eyes.
who had one body and
I am
one
the man
heart,
who groped for
and
words and found
who had the soul racing with
I am the builder whose firm walls surround the sick planet. When I grow sick, when I reach for the wind, cast me not down. Though my face is a burned book and a wasted town.
Of the world-deserving mention or charitable oblivion, not by momentary spleen or lulled into decision gold, leisurely arrive at and remember me when I am dead, and simplify me when I am dead. Remember me when I am dead, and simplify me when I am dead. Remember me when I am dead, and simplify me when I am dead. Remember me when I am dead, and simplify me when I am dead. Remember me when I am dead, remember me when I am dead, and simplify me when I am dead. Remember me when I am dead, and simplify me when I am dead. Remember me when I am dead, and simplify me when I am dead. Remember me when I am dead, and simplify me when I am dead.
The sun shines on the water as it gently rises. You can see the face of God. If you look at the sun, your soul forgets everything as you wake from the dream of life's worries. For the joy lifts your heart, and your soul sees the wisdom of life and beauty indescribable. Is the pain gone? There now. Go to sleep.
What the hell do we do now, sir?
These boys are apparently having a pretty tough time in here on the beaches. It's not very pleasant. It's exposed, and it must have been a rugged fight to get it. We can look on down the coast now and see this flat part of the beach, which joins the water, going all the way down to the lower beach, which is marked for us by columns of white smoke which are rising from it. And further up at the end of this beach, you can see another huge column of white smoke, which has apparently been caused by naval gunfire. Looking out to sea, all we can see of the vast invasion fleet which is assembled for us are the silhouettes of the big warships, the battleships and cruisers, which have been putting a steady bombardment against the enemy positions all day. The troops are well dug in here. along the seawall, which is partly covered by sand. They're sitting down now, most of them, dug deep into the ground, close as close as they can to the seawall to protect themselves from the enemy shelling. We're standing here. It's an absolutely incredible and fantastic sight. I don't know whether it's possible to describe it to you or not. The sea is choppy, and the beach is lined with men and materials and guns, trucks, vehicles of all kinds. On either side of us, there are pillars of smoke, perhaps a mile, 2 miles away, which is rising from enemy shelling. And further back, we can see the smoke and results of our own shelling. It smells like the space. It has a curious odor, which we always associate with modern war. Oil and explosives and something.
Broadsword calling Danny Mark. Get the rest of the men out of here and report to the commandant. Everything ready. We need transport. Understood?
Over. Understood. Do you have it? Over.
He was a famous trumpet man from out Chicago way. He had a boogie style that no one else could play. He was the top man at his craft. But then his number came up and he was gone with the draft. He's in the army now, a blowing reveille. He's the boogie-woogie bugle boy of Company B. They made him blow a bugle for his Uncle Sam. It really brought him down because he couldn't jam. The captain seemed to understand, because the next day the cap went out and drafted a band. And now the company jumps when he plays reveille. He's the boogie-woogie bugle boy of Company B. A toot, a toot, a tooty-lad, a tooty blows it eight to the bar. In boogie rhythm, he can't blow a note unless the bass and guitar is playing with him. He makes a company jump when he plays reveille. He's the boogie-woogie bugle boy of Company B. He was a boogie-woogie bugle boy of Company B. And when he plays boogie-woogie bugle, he was busy as a bee. And when he plays, he makes the company jump eight to the bar. He's a boogie-woogie bugle boy of Company B. Do-do-do-do-da-da, do-da-da, do-do, he blows it eight to the bar. He can't blow a note if the bass and guitar isn't with him. And the company jumps when he plays reveille. He's a boogie-woogie bugle boy of Company B. To sleep with boogie every night and wakes them up the same way in the early bright. They clap their hands and stamp their feet because they know how he plays. When someone gives him a beat, he really breaks it up when he plays reveille. He's the boogie-woogie bugle boy of Company B. Jumps when he plays reveille. He's the boogie-woogie bugle boy of Company B.
Now behold in me an LDV, for battle I'm just yearning, doing my best like all the rest to keep the home fires burning. Each evening stiff as start, up and down the street I march. I'm guarding the home of the home guards, guarding the home guards home. Steady and strong all night long, doing what I'm told and I can't go wrong. Lots of ladies I salute, but one old dame was rather cute. She wanted to see me parachute while guarding the home guards home. When I shout halt, their knees all knock. If they don't stand just like a rock, they get it where the monkey got the clock. Guarding the Home Guards home, I'm guarding the home of the Home Guards, guarding the Home Guards home. All night long, steady and strong, doing what I'm told and I can't go wrong. The girls are fond of me, no doubt, but last night one of them gave a shout. She saw me pulling my bayonet out, guarding the Home Guards home. One evening as an LDV, some German soldiers I did see. They ran like hell, but they couldn't catch me, guarding the Home Guards home. Need to roam while I'm guarding the Home Guards home.
Don't let's be beastly to the Germans. Now our victory is ultimately won. Let us treat them very kindly, as we would a valued friend. We might send them out some bishops as a form of lease and lend. Let's be sweet to them and day by day repeat to them that sterilization simply isn't done. Let's sweetly sympathize again and help the scum to rise again, but don't let's be beastly to the Hun, for they're civilized when all is said and done. Though they gave us science, culture, art and music to excess, they also gave us 2 world wars and Dr. Rudolf Hess. Let's be meek to them and turn the other cheek to them, and try to arouse their latent sense of fun. Let's give them full air parity and treat the rats with charity, but don't let's be beastly to the Hun. Don't let's be beastly to the Germans, for you can't deprive a gangster of his gun. Though they've been a little naughty to the Czechs and Poles and Dutch, I can't believe those countries really minded very much. Let's be free with them and share the BBC with them.
Listen to the BBC, BBC, BBC. Listen to the BBC, tra-la-la-la-la. Who's preaching world democracy, democracy, democracy? Who wants to make free people free, tra-la-la-la-la. First they won the war in France, then they said they had no chance. Each time the Germans did advance, how could they have a chance? They told stories so divine, often marched across the Rhine. Germans eat only rats and mice, but in England all was fine. Bye-bye Churchill, BBC, BBC, BBC. Your tricks won't work with Italy, tra-la-la-la-la. Why not give us different news, different news, different news? Skip those Soviets, skip those Jews, tra-la-la-la-la.
Emaciated, aimless people, with nothing to do and no hope in life.
This is the background to this open-air Jewish days.
Unable to move out of your way, unable to look at the terrible sights around. There was no privacy, nor did men or women ask it any longer. Women stood and squatted, stark naked in the dust, trying to wash themselves, but to catch the lice on their bodies.
This was the background to this open-air Jewish days.
This day at Belgium was the most horrible of my life.
During the service, a few hundred people gathered together, sobbing openly, joy of their liberation, sorrow, the memory of their parents and brothers and sisters that had been taken from them and gassed and burned. These people knew they were being recorded.
They wanted the world to hear their voice. They made a tremendous effort. It's quite exhausting. Listen.
Here's an important piece of news which has just come in. Rome Radio has announced that the King of Italy has accepted Mussolini's resignation.
Mussolini is dead in a howling mob in Milan, where fascism was born, provides the sordid finale as it attempts to vent its rage on the body of sawdust Caesar and his followers, executed a short time before by Italian partisans after a summary trial. Signal Corps cameras record the blind fury of a people whom he led to disaster after promising them an empire through 20 strutting and corrupt years. Mussolini and his mistress hang from the rafters of a gas station. As Terracci, one of his hangmen, goes up. There are none more. August has run out of Caesar.
Those dirty rats across the sea. Grab your saddle off the rack, put it on your pony's back, and we'll brand those ratses with a V. Remember, we need each hand to ride for his Uncle Sam. We'll have a rodeo down in Tokyo and a roundup in old Berlin. We'll rope 'em, we'll run 'em, we'll bomb 'em and gun 'em when the Yanks go marching in. We'll hog-tie old Hitler and all of his crew. We'll bulldog old Tojo, and then we'll have a rodeo down in Tokyo and a roundup in old Berlin.
We'll have a rodeo down in Tokyo and a roundup in old Berlin. We'll rope 'em, we'll run 'em, we'll bomb 'em, we'll gun 'em when the Yanks go marching in. We'll hog-tie old Hitler and all of his down in Tokyo and a roundup in old Berlin.
Have a rodeo down in Tokyo, a roundup in old Berlin. We'll rope 'em, we'll run 'em, we'll bomb 'em and gun 'em when the Yanks go marching in. We'll hog-tie Hitler and all of his crew. We'll bulldog old Tojo, and when we are through, we'll have a rodeo down in old Tokyo and a roundup in old Berlin.
But the glorious privilege is yours to be a Nazi, to work 48 hours a day for the Führer. Then the Führer says, we never will be slaves. We Heil, but still we work like slaves, while the Führer brags and lies and rants and raves. We Heil, and work into our graves. Heil Hitler! Heil Hitler! Heil Hitler!
When the Führer says, wie ist the master race, we Heil, right in the Führer's face.
Then Herr Goebbels says, we own the world in space. We Heil, right in Herr Goebbels' face. Then Hoch Göring says, they'll never bomb this place. We Heil, right in Herr Göring's face.
Is he not the Superman? Aryan Führer Superman? Yeah, we is the Superman.
Super duper Superman.
Is this Nazi land so good? Would you leave it if you could?
Ja, this Nazi land is good.
We would leave, but if we could,
we bring the world new order.
Heil Hitler's world and order.
Everyone a foreign race will love the Führer's face when we bring to the world disorder.
So we heil!
Heil! Right in the Führer.
This is London Port. Here is a news flash. The German radio has just announced that Hitler is dead. I repeat that. The German radio has just announced that Hitler is dead.
Yesterday morning at 2:41 a.m. at General Eisenhower's headquarters, General Jodl, the representative of the German High Command, and of Grand Admiral Dönitz, the designated head of the German state, signed the act of unconditional surrender of all German land, sea, and air forces in Europe to the Allied expeditionary forces and simultaneously to the Soviet High Command. Hostilities will end officially at 1 minute after midnight tonight, Tuesday, the 8th of May. We may allow ourselves a brief period of rejoicing. Today is Victory in Europe's Day. Long live the cause of freedom. God save the King.
The German war is therefore at an end. After years of intense preparation, Germany hurled herself on Poland at the beginning of September 1939. And in pursuance of our guarantee to Poland, and in common with the French Republic, Great Britain, the British Empire, and Commonwealth of Nations declared war upon this foul aggression. After gallant France had been struck down, we from this island and from our united empire maintained the struggle single-handed for a whole year, until we were joined by the military might of Soviet Russia and later by the overwhelming power and resources of the United States of America. Finally, almost the whole world was combined against the evildoer, who are now prostrate.
We are delaying the start of our scheduled program to bring you the latest direct report on the atomic bomb attack on Japan.
The explosion was a big ball of fire. Anyone not having dark glasses would have received a visual shock several miles away. One of the crew members said, "My God, what had been Hiroshima was a white mountain of smoke, and when we saw it first, it was already up to 25,000 feet. This one bomb is the equivalent of a 2,000 B-29 raid."
Ladies and gentlemen, the President of the United States. The world will note that the first atomic bomb was dropped on Hiroshima, a military base. We won the race of discovery against the Germans. We have used it in order to shorten the agony of war, in order to save the lives of thousands and thousands of young Americans. We shall continue to use it until we completely destroy Japan's power to make war.
I'm sorry, but I don't want to be an emperor. That's not my business. I don't want to rule or conquer anyone. I should like to help everyone if possible. Jew, Gentile, black man, white. We all want to help one another. Human beings are like that. We want to live by each other's happiness, not by each other's misery. We don't want to hate and despise one another. In this world, there's room for everyone. The good earth is rich. We can provide for everyone. The way of life can be free and beautiful. We have lost the way. Greed has poisoned men's souls, has barricaded the world with hate, has goose-stepped us into misery and bloodshed. We have developed speed, but we have shut ourselves in. Machinery that gives abundance has left us in want. Our knowledge has made us cynical, our cleverness hard and unkind. We think too much, feel too little. More than machinery, we need humanity. More than cleverness, we need kindness, gentleness. Without these qualities, life will be violent, and all will be lost. The aeroplane and the radio have brought us closer together. The very nature of these inventions cries out for the goodness in men, cries out for universal brotherhood, for the unity of us all. Even now, my voice is reaching millions throughout the world, millions of despairing men, women, and little children, victims of a system that makes men torture and imprison innocent people. To those who can hear me, I say, do not despair. The misery that is now upon us is but the passing of greed, the bitterness of men who fear the way of human progress. The hate of men will pass, and dictators die, and the power they took from the people will return to the people. And so long as men die, liberty will never perish. Soldiers, don't give yourselves to brutes, men who despise you, enslave you, who regiment your lives, tell you what to do, what to think, and what to feel, who drill you, diet you, treat you like cattle, use you as cannon fodder. Don't give yourselves to these unnatural men with machine minds and machine hearts. You are not machines, you are not cattle, you are men. You have the love of humanity in your hearts. You don't hate, only the unloved hate, the unloved and the unnatural. Soldiers, don't fight for slavery, fight for liberty. In the 17th chapter of St. Luke it is written, the kingdom of God is within man, not one man nor a group of men, but in all men, in you. You, the people, have the power to create machines, the power to create happiness. You, the people, have the power to make this life free and beautiful, to make this life a wonderful adventure. Then in the name of democracy, let us use that power. Let us all unite. Let us fight for a new world, a decent world, that will give men a chance to work, that will give youth a future and old age a security. By the promise of these things, brutes have risen to power, but they lie. They do not fulfill that promise. They never will. Dictators free themselves, but they enslave the people. Now let us fight to fulfill that promise. Let us fight to free the world, to do away with national barriers, to do away with greed, with hate and intolerance. Let us fight for a world of reason, a world where science and progress will lead to all men's happiness. Soldiers, in the name of democracy, let us all unite!
The Japanese have accepted our terms fully. That is the word we have just received from the White House in Washington, and I didn't expect to get a celebration here in our newsroom in New York, but you can go on going on behind me. The Japanese have accepted fully the surrender terms of the United Nations.
There you have confirmation from the Swiss radio of acceptance by Japan of the implied note requesting the surrender of the old failure. There was the historic moment in this country, the conclusion of the War in the Pacific. We read that flash to you at 10 seconds after 7:35, just as it came off the Reuters news printer from London.